It's the time to get down.
Reporting of it more than anything else. Really what they're trying to say is that the part that catches me off guard is that it was 24 months. Went down to 21. They took off 3 months because he said it was a negligent act. And they actually believed that part of it, that it was unintentional, that he somehow had ExtenZe in his system. Do you believe that?
No.
No.
So if they reduce...
because it's not relevant. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, but it's considered an enhancement.
Right.
It enhances. If it can grow, Mr. Johnson, it's gonna.
But does it help you in sports, or does it make you trip?
You're getting some stuff.
See,
but I mean, you can think about that. It is enhancing.
Okay.
Yeah, and people could use that for that and say that they're using it.
All right. Thanks to the power of the internet, it says that there's no real data. They actually, I'm looking at an article that compares ExtenZe and ExtenZe, and says that neither of them have any real data, but they're trying to get some trials. So it's hopeful.
Right. So in the end of the day, I actually had to stop and think that they're going to keep writing the story as it's something sensational. And I thought based on, oh, you ain't using your own, man, so you know what that means. And then I had to stop and think and go like, well, think of the women who've dealt with him and think of the women who may deal with him. Wouldn't they be coming or running away? Nicole, do you believe coming towards him?
She's caught up in the ExtenZe ingredients.
Yeah, I don't know, because that might mean that he really ain't working with something. So I might run.
Well, just so you guys know, it includes Korean ginseng, ginkgo leaf extract, pine bark, oat straw, arginine hydrochloride, maca root, saw palmetto extract, and horny goat weed. I think I smoked some of that back in the 90s. The horny goat weed.
All those are good things. Those are good.
Yeah,
good
I've
ingredients.
heard of all those herbs.
So they're good herbs. Now the thing about it sometimes is the amount of the herb that you're getting. You know, the relative amounts, or whether they give you the cheapy herb.
Yeah, those are herbs. So
so they're doing studies. They haven't had any like
the FDA hasn't done any, but they've done their own.
It doesn't work.
Well, that's they said they had
those
so
herbs
far.
work.
Well, in that picture, it looked like it's working. But I'm like, so what would show up? That's I don't.
Because those are herbs, exactly. It's not a drug.
But and it also says caffeine and.
Well, you know, it's also they talk about yohimbe. I don't know if any of you heard when that
That's
was
an herb.
That's another herb that was linked to. Most of these are supposed to be ingredients that cause your blood vessels to dilate.
They do.
They can gorge.
They do.
Well,
okay, well, I trust you. I believe it. Okay, Shango. Okay. Can I just bring out the MasterCard? And I get until we get to ExtenZe too. Just get
the herbs. Just get
go. So because these are good herbs.
Just get the herbs.
You can go get those listings online too.
So I don't know. Maybe it's a red flag. I'm not sure, but I thought it was an interesting story as it relates to a professional athlete who's being enhanced. So now that because they wear the type of clothes they do, I truly believe that everybody's not going to watch him to win. They're going to be watching for other things.
Well, if he's going to keep running with boners and stuff, they're going to take pictures of it.
Exactly.
See
the waist down. That's it. That's it. No head needed. The waist down.
You guys are so
No, but Nicole,
bad.
you have the right jock strap on. It kind of puts your stuff in, a certain position. They ask you to the left, to the right, but you get it. But see, obviously he's not wearing the proper jock strap.
Yeah, he doesn't wear that.
You guys.
That's me right
defeating the whole purpose. He's defeating the purpose.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you ladies, you can run. When you run, it's different. That air, natural flow, makes you, soon. Get those natural vents.
I can't believe this.
It's aerodynamically.
I'm glad y'all not faster.
Sometimes I'm real fast. I'm just running. If the wrong thing is after me, whoo.
Okay, well, hey,
the
look.
right thing. You know,
See-
with that insurance policy.
Oh, I didn't even want to start with this story because you can't go to any other sports after this. This is just impossible. What am I going to do? Go to Monday Night Football? It's not going to work. This story to me was very interesting as it relates to his popularity and him being off the circuit for about 21 months because he's not going to be on the circuit. I think he served some time already as it relates to the suspension. So the part that I keep thinking, I said, dude, do you know that right now that there's going to be a host of media people shooting cameras but pointing low? Okay, so that's what I think is going to happen. Okay. All right, you guys. I don't know how many of you guys are into Monday Night Football, or is there anyone into football here? Anyone?
I like football.
You like football?
I like football.
What is the most?
I don't know anything about football, but I like football. I ask a lot of questions when I'm watching it. But
Give us an example.
That's
of
a
question.
negative.
I was.
But not from a fine woman.
but I do like though.
Then it's okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So hey, let me.
Y'all
Just,
can ask questions.
I won't even go through that. Okay. Let me just say this.
Ooh, look at this picture.
Let me ask you. You're wrong. You're wrong. I have to go to this picture because it deals with a subject that is following behind Monday Night Football. Although the Tennessee Titans won, they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. No surprise, it was kind of an embarrassment on Jacksonville's side because they played so poorly. After beating Indianapolis not too long ago, they come in and get wiped out in Jacksonville in your home stadium. That's not the story. The story is the new rule in the law. The rule, not a law. Devastating hard hits, because I don't know how many people seen the devastating hard hits over the weekend. Mm-hmm. Wow, you had the Rutgers incident where the guy's paralyzed. Right?
Oh, yeah?
Right. So.
Yeah. So you got these other hits where you can see people getting their brains clocked.
Really?
So right. So they're instituting a rule within the next several days that now players will be penalized, suspended, or what have you for somewhat being involved in what they call the devastating hit, which now is somewhat subjective because they can't say, well, define it and what does that mean for the player? Who does he have to pull back and play, or is this just one of those things where it's more hype than anything else? So if you had to define the devastating hit outside of the regular rules, hitting in the face, head, whatever, are we telling our players to pull back a little bit? What do you think? I'm gonna go to you, Gina, because I know you said, hey, I don't follow, but I don't know.
Wow, I just know that those hits are devastating because I did see them. So they're kind of gut wrenching. But I think they're probably saying to hold back a little, because how can you actually charge, and try to get that hit and you have to pull back at the same time? I don't know. It's kind of contradicting to me. So I think yeah. They're trying to say, yeah.
Okay, so you think it's a good thing that they go into this and try to police it in some kind of way?
I think in some kind of way, because it is kind of,
okay.
When you watch it,
it's hard.
It's hard.
Okay, watch this now. Shango. Now picture yourself on the other side. I'm a receiver. I'm about 180. Shango's on the other side, and he's coming. I actually am praying that he honors the rule. But if he's trained to hit, would you pull up and say, "Look, I have to, take it a little bit"? It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
So you rather risk the suspension? Say, "Look, suspend me."
It's not going to happen. You can't.
Right.
You're going to. What's going to happen? That's going to interfere with the game of football itself. I think what they're talking about is some obvious clocking you, stole on you. You don't see it coming, and you have a choice in your mind to hit him one way or another way. And you decide, I am fitting to really lay this dude. Those are the blows. But if you're in motion, it's almost like you accidentally hit yourself, and it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But not when you can hit them another kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
And in a flash of a moment, you can make decisions that could not necessarily make or break, but there are some occasions where somebody's going to get hit from the blind side. Absolutely. Because the periphery is not always in check sometimes.
Absolutely.
So they're going to make a determination.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Your drilling is high, you running, you trying to get the guy.
Okay.
It's not intentional.
Now
they're talking about intentional stuff.
That's what, and here's
you can look at some stuff, you see a guy,
you can see
intentionally, yeah.
I got you. Now let me go up here to the front row. I go to the front row here because they bring insight. Watch the front row.
Well, we've talked about this. You guys, to put it in perspective, we live in a time where we are finally getting more information about things that we traditionally felt to be okay.
Right.
For example, boxing. That's a sport where the goal is to give the person brain damage. When you cause someone to be knocked out, that's a technical concussion. So it's brain damage. So One day I told people this, and I played football, very violent sport. I was a middle linebacker, and I used to pick a spot 3 feet behind you and run for that. Okay, so I used to hit people very hard. Okay, now they're showing all these studies that show that the damage, and as you learn more, remember football's an employer-employee relationship. Imagine a job where part of your job is I send you out every week to engage in activity that's physically life-threatening. Would I be liable for suits? The NFL knows that they're on the hook long term. One day in year maybe 2050, we'll go, you know, they used to play a game called football. They used to hurt each other. People actually applauded that. Like almost like the gladiators, where they used to go down and have sword fights. Because our attitude, our consciousness is changing on this. Even the sports analysts, but they still have the same techniques of tackling. Okay, so you have to learn all this new techniques because now all the players are 6'4", 250 pound, them steroids, running 4'8". So when you put that kind of mass collision, hitting each other, it's only a matter of time before you have some real tissue damage. So that's part of the problem that the public, they know. See, on the inside, the studies have already shown, because you have all the players now that they've been watching them, and they all jacked up. Everybody you name that you love, these old players, Earl Campbell can't even bend his knee. They can't walk upstairs.
Exactly. Yeah. OJ said he couldn't have done it.
Right. They said see him walk. Right. Right. So that's the thing. Now, Sean Gartel will tell you one thing that some of us who like football, who still love the game, we're hoping for is that some of the new technology, if you can fuse that helmet to the shoulder pads, only then one day you have a football helmet that's like a big ass afro from the old days. It's just wide. It's a big old helmet. It's fused to your shoulders so that you can only get so much flexion or extension anyway. So it's going to protect you. And then they're going to use these new plastic polymers so that your knee braces, your knee will only flex a little bit. But in order for football to continue, they're going to have to look like Iron Man.
That's true. And I figure this. I mean, if I'm going to get hit, I like to get hit hard.
Well, that's why you get that's a different time. But even that gets hurt. That's right.
Oh, you guys
you can get those fishes.
Okay, where you going? All right, let me do because I know
sleep on your stomach.
I gotta stop him before he goes there. Okay, you guys check it out. There's a hit here that I want you guys to look at because
look at this hit.
This hit is an example of. It's kind of hard.
Look at his face.
Okay,
his whole face is distorted.
I mean, what's up with the side? Is that like injuries before, or did that happen with the helmet coming?
That's the hit
at the time that it happened.
Like
that's how.
And see what's so bad is they want you.
Guy, go back to that. Look at Paul. Look at this guy's. Look at his quad, the one in the blue.
Yeah.
Look at his hands. You see how powerful his legs is? That, and all that's coming from his legs, all the way up. His glute, his maximus, his ass.
The power.
I mean, he's yes. The
power
starts. So was that necessary? Yeah.
He was rushing in.
You can't.
That's
It's
right.
kind of unavoidable. You can't when you're already in the action. It's kind of hard to pull back. You can't.
That's right.
Gina, they used to teach us to put your nose on their numbers. That's the way you were taught to tackle. For someone to start trying to shift, I was telling Vic, I'm not sure what you tackling them with now. When we played, you put your face on their numbers. Now, what you supposed to come up and hit them with chest or something? Or those shoulders? It ain't how you do it. Those of us who played, I don't even know how you teach that technique.
It's not going to happen.
Because how you going to hit somebody, then you still can get a neck injury.
Yeah.
What if you try to hit them with the shoulder? Now you got a neck injury hitting your head this way.
Mm-hmm. See, that hit looks spontaneous. That don't look like one of those hits.
That's right.
It looks spontaneous. I don't know who was running with the ball because the ball is falling. I don't know. I can't tell at this point who had the ball.
Right.
Probably the guy in the white.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, right?
Yeah. Now, this made me go to this thing that we always try to find this. People choose to go into the gladiator dome and do what they already tell them. You're going to get hit. All right. Now they're going.